Happiness is beautiful, it's a kind reality. Happiness is the highest good, happiness is free. So let's be so very happy. Yeah, let's be so very happy. Yeah, let's be so very happy.
Welcome to the Happiness Show. This is George Ortega. I'm here with Claudia Bassett, and we're here to talk about happiness because happiness is, always has been, and always will be the point of it all. Today is a very special show because we have with us our new co-host, Nevin Roby.
Hello,
Nevin,
hello.
welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, George. Thank you, Claudia. It's a pleasure being here.
Absolutely. Good to have you.
Okay, and we're gonna be talking about like the enemies of happiness. But Nevin, before we start, you want to talk to your audience about like what brings you to the show? You know, why you decided to do the show?
Basically, what brought me to the show was the lovely Claudia. I've known her for a couple of years now as a customer of Sam Ash I used to work at, a good friend, a musician, and basically she told me about the show, that it seems you are the creator of it, this idea of happiness, which we're all lacking in our lives, and I found that to be very intriguing. The different topics you guys cover, the themes, so I feel maybe I might have something to bring to it. I'm an artist, got many degrees in music and film and graphic design, and a lot of times when I'm doing my art, I find that's my center of happiness. If I'm playing music, or if I'm even if I'm designing a web page for someone else, just doing that type of work makes me a calmer, a happier person. And I found that maybe, different topics. I know Claudia, she's just a genius in her therapy work and stuff like that. She's been doing for many years, helping people, and you're the expert researcher who knows so much about. I mean, I give you credit. I mean, I read a lot, but you have so much knowledge in you that you just pick up when you go. And I feel maybe I can be a good balance between you two with a different insight. And I know, Claudia will say it, and even my age and my generation can be brought to the show, which is a unique experience, I think, because my generation is a pretty unique generation. Other than that, I mean, I think the enemies of happiness, which I think this is the most interesting topic, I like it because you're looking at why people aren't happy. And to look at why they're not happy is how you can make something happy. You can't just be happy for no reason. You have to figure out what's not making you happy and then solve that problem. Maybe that's my problem-solving skills, but I don't know if that's really the correct way of looking at it,
I don't
Claudia.
think there's a correct way. I think happy is derived from wherever you get it. As long as you're not hurting anybody, it's okay.
Very true.
So, but there are enemies inherent in society and that keep us from reaching the happiness goal, right?
Exactly, and that's what we're going to explore today. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm chewing gum. Is that okay with you guys?
It's fine with me.
I'm chewing.
I won't blow any
Makes you
bubbles.
happy?
Makes me happy.
Yes.
Okay.
It makes me happy.
Let's start out with
Satin?
Yeah, because there's no, there are like things that make us are unhappy. There are like emotions. Then kind of like there are kind of like certain people, I think, within our society, which includes ourselves, because I think sometimes we conspire against our own happiness, that kind of like limit our happiness. And one thing is like sometimes people that are afraid of unethical happiness, that is gotten from a way that may not be so good. I think that's one reason why some of us, and to an extent ourselves, we're afraid of happiness in that sense.
So demonstrate unethical happiness for our audience.
Well, for example, the Greeks came up with this idea of hedonism, that pleasure is the purpose of life. And actually, the way they explained it, it really didn't have a negative connotation. It was just like seeking pleasure and all. But hedonism got mixed in with the drunken orgies and all this stuff, these kinds of activities that are inherently risky, that could like be pleasant in the short term, but then pose great dangers for happiness in the long term. So in general, like religion, religious institutions are really afraid of that kind of happiness that doesn't take into account like the wisdom or the kind of the long-term happiness, not just of oneself, of others.
Well, moderation, I think, right? I mean, I think that was the problem with the Greeks, was the fact that they took a concept and just went overboard with it. And I mean, like you said, the drunken orgies. You got to seek pleasure, but you can't just super indulge and not have anything else going on in your life. I mean, I think
Plus, you can't remember a damn thing the next day.
that's true. Or for them, it would
Or
be
even
like
what
a month.
made you happy. In that case, right.
Yeah, I mean, they were like,
No rehabs then either.
no, definitely not.
Wow.
Their rehab was the bar, and you're not going to get help there. But that's very interesting.
So religion, yeah.
Well, yeah. So like but the answer to that is that there's a right way to achieve happiness, there's a wrong way, and I guess in its most general form, it's like if we're not doing anything to hurt others, then obviously that's the right way, right? Whereas if we're deriving our happiness at the expense of others naturally, or even at the expense of our future happiness, that's the wrong way. And that's really the answer to that kind of enemy of happiness, that if people can be just, if people can understand that happiness does not have to be risky, does not have to be at the expense of others, then I think many people who are just not so comfortable with the idea of happiness would really understand it better, and it'll feel safer to them.
Now, would you say, just talking on the same topic of religion, would you say religions are, being part of a religious group of some sort, is that happy or not? Because I mean, you say expense of others, and my take on religious things is that there are so many of them that right there is the inherent issue. My religion is better than yours, my God, this, that. So even though inside the community itself there may be a happiness, it's unhappy elsewhere. While like, for instance, a guest that we've had on the show before, the social club Avenue B, you're talking about just people getting together, communicating ideas, and doing events. To me, I feel religion is a scary situation because it's like it may
So
be.
you think that might be an enemy of happiness?
Exactly. It may try to bring happiness, but
By
really,
frightening us like sinners.
Right.
Well, I was listening to, they were commenting on CNN with Hillary Clinton's comment about that the House of Representatives was run like a plantation, where everybody's just like jumping on that
Right.
because it's good media, I guess, to expand on that. But they were having these religious Christians, I don't know who they were.
Fundamentalists.
Yeah, and they were scaring me. I was frightened listening to them talk about what they think you should, how you should feel about
Right.
this. And to me, that part of religion where there's a box, and if you're not in the box or have a foot in the box or you're on the way into the box, then you're out of the box completely, and you're going to burn in hell.
Right.
That frightens me, and that's no way to pursue happy parishioners or just happy groups of people who might want to come to engage in a religious activity or spirituality together to feel happy together.
Right.
So
Right,
there's a potential enemy of happiness.
Right. I completely.
It's segregation. And I think any form of segregation is an enemy of happiness.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, religion, it can be good, like, to kind of like have the belief that there's like a loving God who cares for us.
Right.
That might be nice. But yeah, I mean, when they divide groups of people against each other and all, that's horrible. I mean, I think that religious division is probably responsible for so many of the problems, the geopolitical problems we have in the world today. My God, I mean, these regional wars and stuff, so much of are based on these religious differences.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, a point to kind of go on with that is that I have a major problem with is the fact that religious groups, no matter who they are, they say they're helping, they give money, they're not for profit, they're this and that, but like you said, you want to look at history, you want to look at historical fact. Religion has killed more people than natural disasters on this planet. If you even take, the dinosaurs' extinction and total their numbers up, we have killed more humans than anything else. I mean, it would take. I remember seeing like a special late at night. I think it was like a Discovery Channel type thing, and this one scientist just said like the whole world would have to be destroyed twice over with everyone on it right now, like gazillion people, for it to even amount to all the torturing and deaths that religion has caused. I thought to myself, yeah, that doesn't seem like a happy thing to me. I mean, that doesn't seem like something I want to be a part of. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy people's company and ideas and exchanging stuff, and not trying to get the other man's land or oil or, whatever else they're using God, for their own purpose.
So war has been, connected to religion.
Oh.
And war is an enemy of happiness because people, lose everything, their lives, their families and loved ones, their freedom. That's big, and so that's a huge enemy, and it trickles into many different areas of
Most definitely.
being able to achieve happiness.
I think, also there's, here in America we're about 70% happy, in general. And that's not all that happy,
Right.
We could be much happier. So
That's not all that happy. I like the way you say that. It's not all that happy.
Yeah,
yeah.
30%.
because, if that's the average, there's got to be a lot of people below that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think those people, emotions are contagious. And it's kind of interesting, while happier people can make the less happy happier, actually, according to the research, there's a stronger pull downward. So that in terms of enemies of happiness, we've got a lot of people in the world that we shouldn't, view them as enemies in the sense that we're against them. We really should try to help them, because, it would be helping ourselves also. But they basically, I think, would feel more comfortable bringing other people down to their level that maybe they're more comfortable with than making the effort to meet other people that are happier level.
Well, it could be. Or maybe just the way society is structured. Maybe, people don't realize the beautiful effects of being happy. I mean, helping someone else, just like you said, random acts of kindness before. I mean, it actually is, fantastic. Like a week ago, I was at the supermarket, and there was an elderly lady, who needed some help putting stuff in her car. So I went to help her. Did it, and when I got in my car and left, I felt a sensation, a euphoric sensation of happiness. I didn't get anything out of it other than, I helped her out and made things a little easier for her. She said thank you, and that's it. I think, if people did that more.
But you did get something out of it. You got tremendous joy.
Exactly. But I got nothing
and
material.
And so did she.
Right.
But that is material.
I
You
guess.
have to define these things as material. That's a
like
material. That's a neurochemical shift. These are real things.
I knew I was lying to myself. I did get something.
You were lying to yourself.
I was like, I got nothing out of it. Ooh, I feel happy.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
I don't know
to
if
get.
I can drive right now. I feel a little happy.
Well, that's why we have to value happiness as a material thing.
Absolutely.
It's a tangible.
Yeah, and you bring up the point. A lot of people are just they're not aware that the happiness is available to us at just every moment.
Right. Yeah. Stop burning fossil fuels and let's not kill the environment.
That would make me happy.
That would make people happy.
Taking better care of the planet would make me happy.
Yeah.
So maybe global destruction is an enemy of happiness.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Because I think generations ago life was about survival. I think for the whole planet. Then there's certain countries, the rich countries that the United States, Europe, most of Europe and all, that have overcome these problems. So that for some reason though we missed our focus. It went from survival to accumulation of great wealth and material, non-happiness goods. And we lost focus of the fact that the survival and our efforts were really for the purpose of happiness.
Right. It's almost like it's counterintuitive. It's like we're trying to create a society that we lost survival, and now we're screwing it up so badly that in a decade or so we're going to be back to survival again. Because
it just happened with industrialization, didn't it?
Yeah, well, bottled water is a great example of that. You used to be able to, like 25 years ago, you could drink water anywhere, from any faucet in any part of your house.
Even a stream.
Right, a stream, you could just dive right in. Now, you have bottled water, and people make fun of it, but it's like, you really want to drink out of your faucet without a Brita tap? Not really.
Nevin, you bring up an interesting point, because while the water quality may not be so great in certain areas, they did a test. They tested New York City tap water against the top
it's supposed to be the
selling
best.
brands.
Right.
New York City water came in second, which
Right.
so sometimes we're sold on it's got to be, you've got to buy the water when
Right.
sometimes our water's safe. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And
This is why
Let's
I gotta
bottle
come
it
to
and
you.
sell
Well,
it.
I've got more research than
Well, it
I've
should
got.
be, exactly. We should bottle and sell New York water.
But that
Comes in
really
second. It's a great
Oh.
marketing idea.
Yeah, like the Brooklyn beer. It's called Brooklyn Brewery, right?
The Brooklyn
Westchester
Lager or
water.
something? Absolutely.
Where do you bottle it? My bathtub.
I did it with Poland Springs, right? Is it really from Poland?
It's municipal water, Poland Springs.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that. I was like, Poland Springs, you're selling it in America. Nah, that's a trek.
Okay, actually, this gets us right into the next part of this. Madison Avenue business. I think they just may be very invested in us not being as happy as we could be, because their thought is that if we're less happy, we're going to buy their products to become happier.
Right.
Well, that's how they design all these ads. in the media. I think the media is a huge block to happiness. The big enemy number one is the media. Media's out of control. Why is every single product the best goddamn product there is?
Right.
Well, how come this smells best? How come that lasts longer? Why are they all lasting longer than the other one? Who really lasts longest? What is this? It's carte blanche to lie.
Oh yeah, I mean it's you know the great marketing machine. But you see, that also brings up the next question: if your gum is the best tasting gum, and then all of a sudden a couple of years later you come out with a newer version that's even better tasting, how can that be? If you had it the best, how could it get better?
If it's been improved 5 times already, then it must have been a pretty crappy gum to begin with.
Exactly. Yeah, the marketing machine really loves to push us.
So I think the media is a big block
Buy Chanel. Must
to
have.
happiness.
And this is a perfect segue into kind of like when you take all these like negative, these limiters of happiness and put them all together, in this world, in this like reality, we have kind of like a force of goodness, right? And goodness, according to John Locke, this British philosopher, is what creates happiness. So if goodness is what creates happiness, evil is what creates unhappiness. So I mean, and this is something the idea is we've got this force that a lot of people will say, no, there's no evil. It's just like, whatever. And
there's no evil. Dick Cheney.
But the thing,
George W. Bush.
we will personify like goodness in terms of God, right? God is good, and naturally, what's evil?
Satan.
Satan. Satin.
We have a typo. Wait a minute.
And so we've got like this one force in our universe, in our world, that basically encompasses everything that's limiting our happiness. So I mean, can we do anything about this? I mean,
Satan.
I think satin.
I think we wrap them in satin.
Wrap Satan in satin and send him out. I don't know.
I think we can do something, and it's a really simple act. Everyone who's not political and not running a country needs to stop paying taxes because when you look at the scale of things, when we spend in America like $1 trillion on the Pentagon, which is just a better establishment than throwing rocks and killing someone. We could do it with a joystick now. And we take that money, we put it into education. Oh, there you go. You just created real happiness. Because when you're spending more money on killing one another, which is an enemy of happiness, I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yes.
Maybe we should start funding other things that'll bring happiness, such as, I don't know, people being able to write and read and have conversations.
Well, but isn't that what we're always arguing with our current administration about?
I think any administration from here to the beginning of man.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I used to think the Democrats were all for,
No.
they're like, it's the politicians, it's the people in power, and this is a perfect segue into like this idea that we have, because basically you talk about like how much money we spend on the military. We spend, our gross domestic product is how much we earn, in products and services in the year. We spend 3 cents out of every $100 of that to help like this half of the planet that's living on less than $3 a day and stuff. So I mean, like, talk about evil. Right. I mean, like 3 cents out of every $100, and most of us when they're asked, well, how much of our do we give in foreign aid? Well, most of us will say, well, 5-10% of our income and stuff. So that first we just don't realize how little we give, and I mean, my God, we're so rich, and we're just ignoring them. So let's talk about a way to counter that, a way to really address that problem, so that when we buy products from stores, it's not from the kind of like Madison Avenue kind of culture that gets us to buy things that don't really improve the world. Okay, Claudia, do you want to explain this? Do you want to lead into this, or
no?
Okay. All right. The idea is like.
I love when you do it, George.
Okay.
Do it, George.
You guys are great.
You've got Paul Newman, right? He pioneered this. He came out with a salad dressing right back in 1982, and he donated all the profits to charities. Right. The first year he donated $1 million. He's come out with a line of 48 products. He's donated $175 million to all these products. So the idea is, there should be hundreds, thousands of companies just like Newman's Own to give us the opportunity when we go into a supermarket. We don't have to buy from Crafts or from General Foods, where this company is just going to, this money that that they get from our sales is just going to go to make very, very rich people richer, while half the planet can't eat.
Right.
So I mean, we've got to promote this.
True.
Here's my question, though. Why aren't there more companies
Why?
set up that way?
Greed. Which is evil.
But we have one actor who decided, how long ago was this?
82.
82. Hello?
I know.
To do this. 82. So already
23
been
years.
tried and proven that it works, and it's easy to run. 20% goes back into running the business, administrative costs and overhead, whatever. And the rest of it is, helping people, and it's good. And he's gotten years of promo from that. People always look at him and go, oh, Paul Newman. Well, I do that anyway, but still, I mean, he's done something great, and that's also one of the accolades. So why on earth aren't people just saying, why doesn't it just roll over into other companies? Why aren't there other stars just doing that, putting their little face on the label? Why they have their own little cologne company, and then they have all these ads where their legs are spread and buy my stuff.
Right.
But where's that money going?
Right.
Where's that money going?
I agree.
Or the jeans and
I would say laziness.
the big fat ass jeans for big fat ass people.
Right. I say it's complete laziness. Really, I think
It's laziness.
Yeah, because Paul Newman is doing so. Yeah, because all right, let's look. You want to look at the opposite example, which is Bill Gates and his family. Okay, the man is the richest guy in the world. He's got over $40 billion. Now, he doesn't do what Paul Newman does, but he gives away millions and millions of dollars a year. But that's easy. You sign a check, you give it, it's done. The foundation kind of funds itself. Paul Newman is doing something which I completely respect. First of all, he's got a great product, which I remember reading an article about the process of, let's forget the selling for a moment. Let's just think about how he makes that product. It's made from local industries. He's not only supporting, the money to be given out, but also the making of the salad dressings are all these different organizations and different farms where all this ingredients is coming to, and he's putting it
generates
together.
all of this.
Yeah,
great.
and it's a whole working company that he has hands in. Everyone else is just too lazy. They rather do their hip hop or dance around and have spinny gold rims or whatever. While Paul Newman is a famous actor who still does a lot of stuff. Plus, he's got this company, which is amazing since '82. They're just lazy.
But all he did probably was hire the right people and organize it
Well,
properly so that it can run itself, and
That's
people
true.
will carry his future vision.
Exactly, because right now he's got, this guy, Tim Indow, I believe his name, or Tom Indow, who runs his company for him. He's got maybe 15 employees. He's not so hands-on anymore. But the idea is that to run a company like this, these celebrities, there are a lot of celebrities in the world who could just hire somebody to run their company. And, in terms of why isn't this happening? I think ideas have their time, okay? Newman pioneered it. First of all, before 82 and before this decade after 82, you'd ask anyone, if a company can exist and thrive while donating all its profits away, they would say no, impossible, right? Newman demonstrated, for all the world, for history, that not only can a company survive, but it can thrive and grow year after year.
Right.
So it's the time. It's Newman set this precedent, and now it's just the opportunity is right for people to just take that idea and just create many, many more businesses.
Yeah, Halliburton should be doing it.
Absolutely.
They're making a profit like nobody's business. With all those contracts that, Dick, their old CEO, seems to be giving them. Jesus. If you just took their profits alone and just split them and you gave 50% of their profits to the world, wow. First of all, I'm a big education supporter. My mom and my father have been professors and teachers, for a very, very long time. And I see what they go through. And to me, it's education is by far, in my life, the most important thing in the world, period. I think everyone should always keep learning. I think, school should be much cheaper and everything to that effect, but yet they get the least amount of money. And I totally agree. I wish people would follow Paul Newman's example and start doing this because it works, and it can work here.
Well, we can all wish, but how do we examine why people don't? If you take maybe Paul Newman said to himself, I don't need to be richer and have more toys than my neighbor. It's not a value of mine. That's not important to me. So that's beautiful. So I'm going to do this instead, and I'm going to create this, and it's going to give to the community, and I'm going to derive tremendous pleasure and satisfaction from it, and that's what I want. I want a lot of pleasure and satisfaction. I don't want to have, I race my cars and I do acting and and these are the things I want and love, but I don't have to have 52 more houses or own my own island. Because I want to do this. So he made a judgment call for himself. He designed his life that way. He made a decision. He said, that's what I want to do. Because clearly he could have started these companies and made a small fortune, a large fortune, a giant-sized fortune, and just kind of sat around going, yes, look at how much money you made now, Joanne. But they're not doing that.
Right, and it's interesting. He's reflecting what the social scientists have discovered over the last 40 years, that above the poverty line, it doesn't matter whether a person has 50,000, 500,000, 500 million. Just money above the poverty line does not make us happier.
Right.
So some people, I think, like Paul Newman, are wise to understand that. And as we understand that as a culture, then we can just devote our efforts to just seeking our happiness in non-material ways, in ways that, because happiness really isn't about money in an individual way. It's really about people. It's about determining how we want to feel.
Yeah. I think that's what he's found. I think that's his reward, really, is the happiness that he must get, the fulfillment of knowing that he's helping people that maybe they're in hard times or they're trying to get somewhere, but they're a little stuck. And that satisfaction of doing what he's been doing for so long, this company, is absolutely fascinating.
We have a minute and a half left, so I'm going to just throw out an idea. Maybe we should take this show in particular and make a copy of it, of this highlight of it, and send it to Paul Newman's people. And say, listen, we talk about you every single week. Is there anything you'd like to contribute to answer some of the questions that we struggle with each week, like why other people aren't doing it?
Come on the show, Paul.
We should do that.
I wouldn't want to come on the show, but maybe he'll give us something in writing that we have his permission to read in his behalf, with answering some of these questions, like why isn't this being done?
And he's got so many connections. He's got so many celebrity friends. He could say to like, I think Whoopi Goldberg was like in one of his promotions, one of his camps. You can do this. I mean, so many of his celebrity friends could do the exact same thing.
So let's make a pact that we're going to do that.
Definitely,
right, you got it.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Okay.
To happiness.
All right. Well. All right. Thanks, Claudia. Thanks, Nevin.
And thanks for having Nevin on the show as his first
Thank
show.
you, George.
Yeah,
A pleasure.
welcome.
I can't wait to see more of you later. Happiness.
Okay. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thanks for watching. In the future, we'll explore other topics designed to help us better enjoy life. Be good, think well, feel very happy, and I hope you'll join us again next time here on The Happiness Show.
The Happiness Show.
Keep smiling, New York.
Happiness is powerful. It's our underlying need. Happiness is why we live each day. Happiness is destiny. So let's be so very happy. Yeah, let's be so very happy. Let's be so very happy.